Hey everyone, Kaihatsu here. After waiting for such a long time, everyone's favorite emoji-based movie has been released, and with it, an obscure piece of emoji information came to the forefront of my thoughts, which is what I'll be sharing with you today. Even though there are quite a few references to Japanese culture in emojis already, such as the Hanamaru emoji, a flower drawing which is used in Japanese elementary schools to denote brilliant homework, there are some other subtler nods to Japanese culture, especially if we take a look at Apple's version of emojis. But first, a little recap on the history of the emoji. The first emoji was created in 1999 in Japan by Shigetaka Kurita. Back then, emojis were just confined to Japan, and the word emoji originally meant pictograph. The word comes from the Japanese e, meaning picture, and moji, meaning character. The resemblance to the English words emotion and emoticon is actually purely coincidental. Telecommunication companies in Japan all had their own system for adding emojis to their phones, but eventually, emojis were put into Unicode in order to make the system more unified and transferable to other phones and devices. And eventually, emoji went worldwide when Apple included them in iOS 2.2. However, the emoji keyboard in this version of iOS was not meant for Western consumers, and it was only in 2011 with iOS 5 that Apple supported the emoji keyboard internationally. So even though the first emojis were created in Japan, what does this have to do with a simple emoji like the wave emoji? Well, although emojis have now become an international phenomenon, there are still some cultural references to Japan that have remained largely unknown to the general public. And one of these interesting references involves Apple's version of the wave emoji. The design of this specific emoji is based on a Japanese print involving waves, the Great Wave of Kanagawa. It is a woodblock print by Japanese artist Katsushika Hokusai from a series of prints he did called 36 Views of Mount Fuji, a series of prints showing off Mount Fuji from many different perspectives, from natural settings to distant views from towns and cities. It belongs to the ukiyo-e art genre, a genre that flourished during the Edo period, a period that I've also previously discussed in a video about the 400-year-old origin story of the Nintendo Switch, which you can check out here. Anyways, let's talk a little more about the artist behind the print, Hokusai. Hokusai was born in 1760 in Edo, which is now modern-day Tokyo. During his lifetime, he went by many different names, but he began calling himself Hokusai in 1797. Hokusai discovered Western prints that came to Japan through Dutch trade. From the Dutch artwork, Hokusai became interested in linear perspective, and then created a Japanese variant of this. The influence of Dutch art can also be seen in the use of a low horizon line and the distinctive European color, Prussian blue. Hokusai was interested in oblique angles, contrasts of near and far, and contrasts of man-made and the natural. These can be seen in the Great Wave of Kanagawa through the juxtaposition of the large wave in the foreground, which dwarfs the small mountain in the distance, as well as the inclusion of the men and boats amidst the powerful waves. At first, it's possible to view the mountain in the background as another wave, another perspective trick. To simplify the process of making a woodblock print, a design is chiseled into wood after a design is drawn on traditional Japanese paper, which was then glued onto the wood before ink was applied. Originally, extra colors were applied by hand, but were eventually applied with the help of extra woodblocks. Anyways, back to the wave emoji. How is this related to this? Well, the wave emoji looks exactly like the wave at the front of the Great Wave of Kanagawa. This may not seem like much, but the Great Wave of Kanagawa is considered to be one of the most recognizable pieces of art on the planet. Yet many people still don't know about it, and this little nod to it seems to go unnoticed. Apple has even updated the emoji from it being flat, like the original woodblock print, to being more shaded. But this looks even more like the original wave from the print. Hokusai's prints went on to fascinate the West later on in the 17th century, and started up a trend where Japanese prints were highly sought after in the West, a trend I may look at in another video. As well as this, Japanese prints went on not only to inspire the design of some emojis, but inspired many impressionist artists, such as Claude Monet and Vincent van Gogh, who are fans of Japanese prints due to the flattening of space, interest in atmospheric conditions, and the impermanence of modern city life visible in Hokusai's prints. Did you also know that many impressionists also inspired artists working on Nintendo games to use impressionist motifs in their work? You can click the eye in the top right corner to find out about that, in a video I did about Impressionism and gaming. That's just about all from me for now, but before you go, I have an update on the competition I announced in the last video to name this carnivorous plant. All of the suggestions submitted by you guys were great, but I've picked the best 4 to go up against each other in a vote. Unfortunately, to make it fair, I've just taken one name from people that submitted more than one. But thanks for submitting. Here are the chosen names. Frank, submitted by Derula. Sockup, based on a pitcher plant enemy from Bowser's Inside Story, submitted by Timothy3. Amit, a name that means soul eater in ancient Egyptian, submitted by Super 8 Ben. And last but not least, Sarah, submitted by Dwinters62. You can vote for your favorite by clicking the eye in the top right corner to see the poll, and cast your vote. The winner will be announced in the next video. See you next time.